Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick gain adjustment on all of our audio. And we're going to do it to all of our clips with dialogue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore these first 4 clips and the walking.
Lunch break.
Okay, and then I'm going to select everything after that. Okay, so here's a quick way to select all the clips to the left of, where my playhead is basically. If we go up to our tool palette, the second tool down is called the Track Select Forward tool. If we click and hold, there are actually 2 tools there available to us there. There's also a Track Select Backward tool, but we want the Track Select Forward tool. I'm going to put my mouse just over that clip that I want to select and then everything to the right of it, and I'm going to click. Whoops, let me go just a little bit earlier. And that's going to select that clip and everything to the right of it. Then we're going to do a quick gain adjustment. To do a gain adjustment, you can either go to Clip, Audio Options, Audio Gain, or you can use the keyboard shortcut G for gain. Okay, so I select all those clips, and I'm going to hit G for gain. And there are a few different options. Set gain to specific level, -3, -4. Adjust gain by, +5, -7. Or normalize max peak. And what normalize max peak will do, it will analyze the audio in that clip, and it will adjust the gain to make it peak at a certain level. And then we have normalize all peaks, and that will do that for each selected clip in the timeline. So we're going to say normalize all peaks. And typically with dialogue, you want your dialogue averaging somewhere between -6 and -12 on your audio meters. So if we look over here on our audio meters, we've got -6, -12. We kind of want our dialogue in that area. So I'm going to say normalize all peaks to, notice right now it says 0. Where I'm going to click where it says 0, and I'm going to type in -6. -6. Normalize all peaks to -6. I click OK. And now when I play it, your dialogue should be a lot louder. Now, most of these clips are now going to be in the ballpark of where we want them. However, somewhere in here, there's a clip where we put in a reaction shot that there's no audio to. So what that's going to do is that's going to take the background noise and raise that. And so that one clip is going to be really noisy and sound really bad. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to our arrow tool. So we're going to go back up here. We're going to click on our selection tool, and we're going to play it. We're going to keep an eye on our audio meters and obviously listen to our audio or our dialogue as it plays. And when we find that one clip where it's going to be really bad, we're going to stop it. We're going to fix it.
Lunch break.
Just a minute.
No, now.
Okay. What is this?
Green tea.
But I wanted a Coke.
Soda's bad for you. Plus, you've been looking a little puffy lately. This is better for you. Trust me. Where's Hal?
He's out with John and Vincent.
Why do you let him do that to you?
What?
Dump all the work on you?
He doesn't.
He's never here.
He works at night.
Really?
Yes, it's true. He finishes projects from the day before and starts on new projects for the next day. Sometimes I think he just leaves because the sun is coming up.
You're such an apologist for him. He's taking advantage of you.
No, he isn't.
Okay, that's it right there. So where that reaction shot is, that background noise gets way too loud. Now, yeah, I'm aware as we listen, there is some little hum that we hear. There's some other audio that we're going to want to fix. That's not what this class is about, but there are great tools for working with audio in Premiere Pro. I will probably do a set. Well, I'll do a separate video. I'll try to do a separate video pretty soon so we can talk about how we would fix all these little issues within Premiere Pro. But for right now that I found the one clip where the audio is really bad, I'm just going to stop it right there, leave my playhead right there. I'm going to grab this zoom slider here, just kind of pull that in. Okay, that clip right there. I'm just going to select the one clip. I'm going to hit G for gain. And I'm going to go back up here to set gain to. I'm going to put this back at 0. That's like the starting point for gain. Set gain to 0. And then I'm just going to play through the rest of this and see if there's any other.
He isn't.
You know what I say?
What?
I say you open your own business. You're too good to be working for someone who slacks off and leaves you to do all the work.
That's not how it is. I already told you we split the work equally. Really.
Sure.
Really, if Hal could work for 24 hours, I'm sure he would.
Oh yes, he's such a saint. You know, I bet he never even leaves. He probably crawls under desk and sleeps whenever he gets tired.
No. That's weird. Your mind's not working right.
Or maybe it works too well.
What is this?
A veggie burger.
But I wanted a hamburger.
No, you didn't. This is better.
What, is this one of those fake meat pretend burgers?
No, I don't trust those. This is true veggie.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
Okay, so we're going to do a couple more things just for fun. I'm going to zoom in here near the end. And without getting too deep into the weeds here, I'm going to make my Audio 1 and Audio 2 tracks a little larger. I'm going to go over here to the patch panel. I'm going to put my mouse in between the two track headers. And when I see this double-headed arrow, I'm going to click and drag down. That's going to make my Audio 1 track a little larger. And then I'm going to put my mouse in between Audio 2 and Audio 3. And when I see that double-headed arrow, I'm going to click and drag down to make my Audio 2 track larger. And if you look really close, with these tracks made taller, there are these white lines that are going through the middle of the tracks. Those white lines represent volume controls. And basically what I'd want to do here.
No, I don't trust those. This is true veggie.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
Okay, so right here where they're kind of talking over each other, this media has already been prepared where Rory's dialogue is on one track and Tristan's dialogue is on another track. And for example, this one right here, I can grab this volume line for A1 and I can pull this down.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
Okay, and as I do this, we're hearing less of Rory and really just focusing on Tristan.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
Okay, and what I can do is I can basically kind of alternate this. Like in this one, we'd want to hear Rory, but not hear Tristan's microphone.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No.
Okay, so essentially I would go through and kind of raise and lower this volume control to further isolate their dialogue, because we're getting a little bit of an echo, a little bit of a reverb, and it's simply because the other person's microphone is kind of picking up, a little bit, of the other person talking. Okay, it's not that big of a deal through most of this.
Lunch break.
Okay, but like right here, I'd probably want to pull this down.
Lunch break.
That's going to give us a lot cleaner audio.
Just a minute.
And then really from here, it's almost like an alternating
Just a minute.
between each of
No.
these. So let's bring this one down.
Now.
Okay. What is
And then once they get closer to each other, it's not as big of a deal.
this?
Green tea.
But we can go through.
But I wanted a Coke. But I wanted a Coke.
Soda's bad for you. Plus, you've been looking a little puffy lately.
Okay, so we want to pull that down.
Bad for you. Plus, you've been looking a little puffy lately. This is better for you. Trust me.
And if the audio waveform, because sometimes this starts to look a little busy and you're not quite sure what you want to do, which one you want to get rid of, if you want to hide the audio waveform, remember we've got this little wrench menu right here, that settings menu in your timeline. We can click on that and we can deselect show audio waveform. And that'll simply hide it from view.
Where's Hal?
He's out.
And then once again, we can just kind of alternate these for the most part.
Out with John and Vincent.
Why do you let him do that to you?
What?
Dump all the work on you?
He doesn't.
He's never here.
And this should take care of that hum because it sounds like the hum's coming from
He doesn't.
He's never here.
He works at night.
Rory's microphone.
Really? Really?
Yes, it's true. He finishes projects from the day.
By the way, you could also potentially do this with gain. I think it's just better the way the way I've been taught is we typically start with gain to kind of get your clip into the ballpark of where you want it. And then we can use volume to make more fine-tune adjustments. Later on in other lessons, we're going to talk about how to keyframe volume so you can make the volume go up and down within a clip. Right now, I'm just raising and lowering the entire clip. So I know you guys are probably like, oh, how do I keyframe volume? Okay, hint, there's a tool over here called the Pen tool. That's how you keyframe volume. I'm going to talk about that in a different lesson as well. Once again, we're kind of keeping it simple here. So once again, we're just kind of doing this, for every other clip here.
Before and starts on new projects for the next day. Sometimes I think he just leaves because the sun is coming up.
You're such an apologist for him. He's taking advantage of you.
No, he isn't. He isn't.
You know what I say?
What?
I say you open your own business. You're too good to be working for someone who slacks off and leaves you to do all the work.
That's not how it is. I already told you we split the work equally. Really.
Sure.
Really, if Hal could work for 24 hours, I'm sure he would.
Oh, yes. He's such a saint. I bet he never even leaves. He probably crawls under the desk and sleeps whenever he gets tired.
No. Mm-mm. That's weird. Your mind's not working right.
Or maybe it...
Your mind's not working right.
Or maybe it works too well.
What is this?
Okay, so let me show you this. This is kind of bugging me. There's a little bit of overlapping dialogue that maybe I want to trim off here. And we're going to do it using the tools we've already talked about. As I said, there are better ways to do this, but for this, we're going to do it this way. First of all, I want to be able to see the audio I'm going to cut off. So I'm going to go back up here, that little wrench menu, that settings menu. I'm going to turn my audio waveforms back on. I'm going to zoom in nice and close.
Or maybe it...
So there's just a little bit right there that I want to trim off. So I'm going to grab my razor tool. I'm going to add an edit. Go back to my arrow tool. Select the part that I don't want, that little bit right there. Option, delete. Option delete. And I've trimmed a little bit off the head of that clip.
Working right.
Or maybe it works too well.
There's still a little overlap there, but I'm going to leave that for now.
Or maybe it works too well.
What is this?
A veggie burger.
But I wanted a hamburger.
No, you didn't. This is better.
What, is this one of those fake meat pretend burgers?
No, I don't trust those. This is true veggie.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this.
Okay, here again,
No.
there's a little bit right at the beginning. So I'm just going to grab my razor tool, add an edit, go back to my selection tool, select the part of the clip that I want to trim off, option delete.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
And then finally, the rest of this is hers. So I'm just going to pull this down. Okay, so let's say we're done. We're happy with it. We're ready to export it so people can watch it. So first off, anytime you find yourself pausing, Command S to save your work. We're going to do a quick and simple export. Like, let's say you want to export this for YouTube or some other type of like social media. Well, if we go up here to the top left corner here, we've got these three tabs. Import, which we already saw is one way that we can import media into our project. Edit, which is where you're going to spend 90% of your time doing your editing. But then we have export. And this is how we export our work when we're done. Okay, so we're going to keep it simple. Once again, we're going to keep it simple. We just want to export for YouTube. So I go over here, destination, I'm going to turn off media file. So there's little switches over here. I'm going to say, nope, I don't want to do a media file. That this is really just a custom media file. That's what this should really say, custom media file. But then there are a bunch of presets. Okay, so like if you got Facebook presets, Vimeo presets, YouTube. We're going to click the switch next to YouTube. Okay, then for the file name, it's going to name it after your sequence followed by YouTube. So, you know, this is your YouTube export. So I'm going to say, okay, I just want to call this scene 20. I'll leave the YouTube, but I'll get rid of the version 1. So it's going to be scene 20 YouTube. It's going to make an MP4. And then this line right here, the blue text, this is where it's going to put the file. It's going to place the file that you're going to export. So by default, it wants to place it in that Adobe folder inside your Documents folder. So Adobe, Premiere Pro, and then the version of Premiere that you're on. Okay, but I don't want to put it there. So I'm going to click this blue text. That's going to open up a Finder window. And then I'm going to navigate to where I want to put this. So I'm going to put it on my external drive. I'm going to click Media 001. I'll create a folder for it. I'll click New Folder. I'll call this Exports. Exports. And I'm going to click Create. Make sure that that's selected. Click Save. And now when I look here at Location, I can see that it's going to go to my media drive inside the Exports folder. Then I'm going to look at my presets. Okay, so there's like, 4K, HD, standard definition presets. I'm going to leave it set to 1080p. Format, H.264. This is what YouTube wants. Okay, so once again, I'm really not a lot of reason to change these unless you do want 4K or unless you want to make it smaller like standard definition. You can change that. You can even sign into YouTube. So when it's done exporting, it will also upload it to YouTube. So you can choose the channel you want it to upload it to, playlist, title, description, all that. I'm not going to do any of that. And it will give me a little kind of warning at the end that say it didn't upload it to YouTube. But that's okay. I don't want it to upload to YouTube. I want to do that on my own later. Okay, so I'm going to leave myself signed out here. And then really, if you want to, you can double check the settings. But this is all based on the preset. So I've got video settings, 1920 by 1080, frame rate, things like that. Audio settings, AAC, 48 kilohertz, stereo. These are the settings that YouTube wants. Okay, then there are also options for like effects, where you can add like a time code burn or an overlay. We're not doing any of that. Metadata, you can, embed marker information, things like that. I'm just going to turn those off just by clicking the little switch to the right of them. Not that it really matters because there's none of that in this anyway. And then I'm going to leave this set to entire source. And then I'm going to click export. This should export pretty fast. Looks like it's going to take about a minute on my system. So the speed of the export, a lot of it's going to determine, how much RAM you have, how much processing power you have. But I'm just going to kind of let this fast forward. Okay, so it looks like our export is just about done. We have about 5 seconds left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide Premiere Pro here. Notice it gave me an error, but this error is just telling me that it did not upload it to YouTube because I didn't sign into YouTube. That's okay. I'm going to hit Command H to hide this. I'm going to go to my external drive. There's my exports. Here's my MP4 file. I'm just going to double click it to open it in QuickTime, and we're going to play it and check our work.
Lunch break!
Just a minute.
No, now.
Okay. What is this?
Green tea.
But I wanted a Coke.
Soda's bad for you. Plus, you've been looking a little puffy lately. This is better for you. Trust me. Where's Hal?
He's out with John and Vincent.
Why do you let him do that to you?
What?
Dump all the work on you?
He doesn't.
He's never here.
He works at night.
Really?
Yes, it's true. He finishes projects from the day before and starts on new projects for the next day. Sometimes I think he just leaves because the sun is coming up.
You're such an apologist for him. He's taking advantage of you.
No, he isn't. He isn't.
You know what I say?
What?
I say you open your own business. You're too good to be working for someone who slacks off and leaves you to do all the work.
That's not how it is. I already told you we split the work equally. Really.
Sure.
Really, if Hal could work for 24 hours, I'm sure he would.
Oh yes, he's such a saint. You know, I bet he never even leaves. He probably crawls under the desk and sleeps whenever he gets tired.
No. That's weird. Your mind's not working right.
Or maybe it works too well.
What is this?
A veggie burger.
But I wanted a hamburger.
No, you didn't. This is better.
What, is this one of those fake meat pretend burgers?
No, I don't trust those. This is true veggie.
But I really wanted a hamburger.
No, this is more healthy. Trust me.
Okay, so there we go. So there is our basic editing. Okay, this is our basic editing class. So once again, there are other ways that we can refine this. The whole point of this mini class here is, if you've never edited before, to really get you in there quickly and get you editing quickly so you know these basic tools. Now, if you're happy with this and want to continue on, and you did download the media for this class, if you paid the $9.95, you downloaded the media, hold on to that media, because I'm going to use the same media in my Avid class, where I'm going to cover these same topics and my DaVinci Resolve class. Also, I will do more advanced classes using the same media where I do talk a little bit more about trimming. I talk a little bit about doing, color grading, audio work, things like that, using the same media. So if you did download it, hold on to it if you're interested in those other classes, because we will use this over and over again. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the class, and I'll see you in the next one.